Okay. So, so again, we have Greg McKeever, who's a Director of Partner Development for Datawatch, and LaRue Brown, who's one of Datawatch's solution architects. So LaRue and I are going to kind of split up the technical side of things. LaRue will walk you through setting up some of the data modules inside Datawatch, and then once he's finished with that, he'll publish it out to Cognos Analytics, and from there I'll take it over and show you some of the new features that are available in Cognos R5 today. So next slide, LaRue. Okay, there's our contact information. Again, we'll make those slides available to everyone after the presentations. I'll also send you a link to this video on our YouTube channel, so you can look at it and share it with other people once we're done with the presentation. Okay. So right now I'm going to turn it over, just a little bit about NES. We've been in business for 35 years now. We have a couple different offices in Massachusetts, dealing with a couple hundred different customers, dealing around anything regarding data, from data analytic tools like Cognos, Tableau, ETLs, tools like DataStage, data warehouses, clouds environment, and all that good stuff. So right now I'm just going to turn it over to Greg, let him give you a little bit overview of Datawatch, and take it away, Greg.
Thanks, Lee. I appreciate that, and I won't take too long and bore you folks with a lot of slides. We want to get to the demonstration and talk about Cognos, but I thought it'd be important just to kind of talk about Datawatch for 3 or 4 minutes. Not a lot of people are familiar with Datawatch. We're kind of a quiet technology company, but we have literally tens of thousands of users. We've been around for 30 years. We're a global organization. We trade on NASDAQ, and we like to think of ourselves as pioneers in the data prep space. We also have tools around visualization and real-time streaming, but we're going to talk about data preparation. That's our legacy core technology that we're all about. I mentioned our birth in terms of where we are, where we have installs and such. But you can see, we're highly utilized in 93 of top 100 companies. We're big in capital industries and financial institutions, probably the biggest banks out there, and have very significant trading partners. The biggest or the most recent of which, I should say, and kind of the most exciting in the current day, is the IBM relationship that we have. We are a technology partner with IBM. We are interlinked with you, if you will, or owned within IBM under the Watson, or the big data analytics product area, if you will, owned by the Watson product team. But we have tangential ties to Cognos, and we also have a link to their CMOD, an Enterprise Content Management product group. But our primary area of interconnectivity with IBM is within the big data and advanced analytics and our connectivity with Watson and Cognos. And that's a new relationship, and it's part of the reason why we're talking today. We're working with NES as a key partner of an IBM, a key partner of IBM's. So thanks, Lou. Yeah, you can move it forward. So what Datawatch is all about. There's a couple of things I asked you to take away from today. When you think about the space of data prep, I don't need to explain what it is. I think people are either adopting data preparation or understanding what data preparation is, the transformation of information. But if I talk about points of differentiation, a couple of them are self-service nature of Datawatch. You'll see in today's presentation that the ease of use by an individual at an analyst level or a line of business, not becoming autonomy or gaining autonomy from IT and able to do the things they need to do very quickly at the speed of business on a day-to-day basis is what I think you'll take away from LaRue's presentation today, or what you should take away from Datawatch as a point of differentiation. The pillars on this page are kind of the standard what data preparation is, right? Whether it's us or competitors, we're all in the business of getting data together, preparing it, and getting it ready for analytics. A couple of things that are very unique to Datawatch is the acquisition of data. We'll talk a lot about this. And the first and second here, the acquisition and preparation, and the last pillar, the governance, very unique positioning that Datawatch has in there that I want you to be mindful of today, and LaRue will show that and call that out. But from an acquisition standpoint, getting at data, the types of data we get at, the preparation phase of data prep. We're very much drag and drop, pre-built functionality. The speed at which we can transform information is highly accelerated over some of the other tools in the marketplace. And the really neat thing about Datawatch is the governance that we build into the tool. If you're going to be a self-service data preparation tool, you have to give IT or the organization confidence that the data that's being transformed has its legitimacy, if you will. It's not being wrangled and misdirected and maybe mispresented out into the marketplace. So IT has that governance confidence coming from data prep and are more willing to let their users, their individual users, go out and subscribe to data prep because of that. It's kind of a checkpoint for us. So there are three of the key differences. Lou, if you go forward, I want to just talk about the acquisition of data. A little hard to see, but if there's a reason why someone should talk to Datawatch and consider using Datawatch, it's our ability to get what we call dirty data and dark data. Dirty data is an unstructured PDF file, for example, or text file. Things that are typically unable to be introduced into an analytics cycle. You can't take a PDF without rekeying it and get it into rows and columns and add that information into your analytics. Same thing with dark data. Dark data we describe as maybe a Cognos report or a business objects report, something that comes out in a static format from your IT as it was created. That's the only way you can use it. You can't manipulate that data, change it around, or do anything with it without a request back to IT. Datawatch allows you to get that information, drop it into your analytics cycle, and you're off and running with new, deeper insights because you have more data accessible to your analytics process. So when we make prospecting calls, those are the two things we talk about, and we usually get a kind of a leaning forward, listening ear when we talk about those two things, because most of the other tools in the marketplace are unable to do that. I think that might be it, LaRue. Is there one more slide or not? Yeah, just real quickly, these are kind of the typical business process areas that we find most of our customers, from an operational standpoint, they're using it for audits, compliance, doing reconciliations, a lot of back office F&A work, planning and budgeting, or just general performance. So those are the kind of things that we find ourselves from an operational standpoint helping out with in the marketplace. So that's the data prep story. Again, just wanted to get you to the demonstration and some of the real meaty stuff around Cognos, but that's some of the points of differentiation. And if you have questions and want to work with Leo outside of this conversation, please feel free to, and I'll turn it back over to Leo, I think, to talk about some Cognos things.
Yep. Thank you, Greg. Yeah, again, just to give some folks some update where we stand in the Cognos Analytics world. Cognos Analytics again was released about a year ago, just right around Christmas time. They are up to release 5 right now, so that's what we're going to be talking about into the future with Cognos Analytics. Where we're headed. If you guys have been kind of on the fence as far as looking at Cognos Analytics, getting prepared to move to Cognos Analytics, I'm feeling pretty confident. We're going to start moving forward with some of our customers at the beginning of the year to start moving them over to R5. It's stable. It has a lot of the functionality that we've been looking for existing customers to bring their content over, feel confident that the environment is ready to go. So, and again, once I get into my portion of the demo, again, you're going to see a new look and feel. UI has been completely done over. Thankfully, it's only been 12 years since Cognos has had a new look and feel. So I think people are very excited about that. We'll talk about some of the new tools that are available, some of the new modules as far as reporting and modeling and dashboards and data uploads, and we'll show you all that rather quickly. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on what's new inside Cognos Analytics, but I just wanted to give you guys again a look or feel some real quick insight to what's available in R5 right now. Next slide, Lou. Okay, so like Greg was mentioning, I just have this one slide up here. This is the time of year, you see a lot of lists, lists for 2016, what's happened in the past, whether it's IT or sports or politics or whatnot. Also looking into the future, what are the trends for the future, again, for sports and movies and Hollywood and politics and so on. But, one thing I've been noticing a lot as far as IT goes, and analytics goes, is one thing you will see on a lot of these different lists is self-service data prep. So we've all seen, Cognos has had their abilities, again, to allow end users to create their own reports. Tools like Tableau and Qlik have certainly done a really nice job, again, allowing the end users to build rather quickly some very flashy, very informative visualizations. But now with a tool like Datawatch, we're taking that self-service analytics, extending it out to the data prep, and what LaRue is going to show you guys, again, how our end users can take this a little bit further. So again, we're not going back to IT and having those discussions about, okay, how do I get this? Greg was talking about the dark or the dirty data available inside to start reporting off of it and go into those discussions again. So now, Datawatch gives us the ability to manage that, allows our end users to gather that important critical information included in our analytics. Okay, so just wanted to show you that real quick. Next slide, LaRue. Okay, so also IBM, just recently, as far as 10.2, any versions of 10.2, something, again, if you want to talk about Cognos Analytics, it is slated to end of life support sometimes in 2018. They're talking first quarter 2018. I'm sure they'll get pushed back a little bit, but sometime in 2018, all our 10.2 versions will fall out of support. So, not saying you have to run out in January to start looking to move on, but something to start thinking about. We're certainly here to help you with those discussions as far as sizing and hardware requirements and training and so on. So just wanted to let you guys know what's coming down the pike a little bit. Next slide. Okay, so again, some of the things that in R5 that we'll be talking about real quick. Again, obviously, Datawatch and its ability to directly publish the models into Cognos Analytics. We're going to talk a little bit about the Mattebox integration. So in R5, there is a direct integration. It's all part of the new release that allows you guys to start building in some very cool maps that can be built in. And then we'll get into some of the dashboarding capabilities. So, and also some of the bigger things as far as the framework manager packages. One gap they've started to close now is, again, we've had these framework manager packages for a number of years, and now we can start using them in the dashboards with the data modules, creating data sets. So now kind of the new functionality, the new tool sets that are available in Cognos Analytics. Now all that are those historical packages, legacy packages that we've been using the last, in some cases over a decade, some of the packages that I have been working on with some of my customers. Now we can make them readily available to the end users to use them in the new dashboards, the new storyboards, and kind of so on. So we'll talk a little bit about that, a little bit more detail in a couple of moments here. Next slide, LaRue. I think it's your. Just real quick, we'll just go through this again. Some of the newer functionalities that are out there. So again, the Storyboards is a new feature that's available out there. So when we're talking about this, just think PowerPoint slides with live data. So you're connecting to your PowerPoint slides. You can have a guided journey to guide your end users to whatever discoveries you've made with your data. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, drill up and down capability. So again, in our data modules, just like we've done with Transformer for a number of years, or if you've done Framework Manager, the dimensional relational reporting modeling, you can create drill down paths, so year, quarter, month, rather quickly inside your data modules. Next slide there. Okay. And again, as I mentioned, Framework Manager is now readily available in, with the dashboards, with the data module. So again, you can We can link up Excel spreadsheets directly into our Framework Manager packages. So now if you have a spreadsheet, you always want to combine it with the data that's in your Framework Manager package. You can actually start doing that rather quickly. Okay, next slide. Okay. And again, like I said, with the data modules, we can incorporate the Framework Manager packages, do joins, and again, just allow you guys to explore, get into new depths with your analytics. Okay. Next slide, Laura. Okay. And then, like I mentioned, Mattebox right now. Again, it's no extra additional cost to you. It comes automatically with the once you move to Cognos Analytics. Again, as you can see with some of the maps that are kind of displayed in here, so you're going to be able to do some very cool stuff. And this is only going to start to grow. You know, right now they've kind of given us a little taste of what capabilities we have in here. You know, I was kind of on a call the other day with some of the product teams for Cognos, and they started showing, again, doing those deep dives into your maps and stuff like that. So over the next couple months, there's some really cool stuff coming down the pike. Next slide, please. Okay. All right. So right now we're going to have LaRue hop on to Datawatch, and he's going to show you guys how to, again, combine data from a number of different sources and produce a module that we can use inside Cognos Analytics. Take it away, LaRue.
Thanks, Leo, and good morning, everyone. Again, my name is LaRue Brown, and I'm a solutions architect here at Datawatch. And again, I'm going to run you through a very quick demonstration of just how we can use Monarch to, again, prepping and blending those different data sources and then export that directly into Cognos Analytics. So for this particular demo, I'm going to take a few different data points that I have. And my end state that I would like to have is I want to be able to get a report that looks something like this. So I want to have essentially our Salesforce data with some other information available to me. But in order to get that, I also need to, and I want to be able to export a finalized table into Cognos Analytics as well that I can begin to do some analytics on. In order to get to either one of those two end states, I first got to take data from several different places and bring that all together. The first one that I have is a PDF document that contains a list of employees' information. So if I just open this up very quickly for you, you can see what this PDF looks like. It contains essentially all of our employees' information, their address, employee number, the office they work out of, etc. A lot of different information about that individual employee. And this is a PDF document. This is that kind of that dark and dirty data that Greg mentioned to you at the beginning of the presentation. I really can't do much with this data unless I go through and recopy and retype all of this information, which can be a very time-consuming process. You see this one document alone is over 1,000 pages. So just imagine trying to go and retype or rekey all of this information. So what I can do instead, however, is I can take this PDF document, I can drag and drop it directly into Monarch. And when I do, it opens a report discovery window for me. It recreates or reprocesses that PDF document. That now creates selectable text that I can come in and identify a specific field that I'm interested in. So for example, if I wanted to just capture the employee number, I can just come and double click on that value and it automatically parse it for me throughout the entire document. So you see as I scroll through just a few of these different employees, you see I was able to intelligently recognize where that employee number was for each employee and parse it from the entire document. Now that's great if you want to capture just one or two fields individually, but you might want to just capture everything from this particular document. So instead, what we're going to do is instead of doing the manually selecting each individual field, what I would like to do instead is just click on the auto define button. And as you can imagine from the name, the auto define allows you automatically goes through the document and parses the fields for you, so you don't have to worry about going through and manually doing that. There's a few things that you might want to do as well. So as you can notice, when the auto parser, it went through it, it did a fairly good job of identifying the names for each of these columns. But one of the columns, that very first one, it saw the name address after the next to the name, so just assume the name of that column was address. I do want to change that before loading it, so I'm going to double click on that column name and just type in the actual name that I want. So now that we parse all the data directly from this PDF, I can now take this and load it right into data prep. So I'm going to just open that particular table, and now you notice I have that available as a table that I can now load directly in data prep. And now I've gone from a a flat file PDF document now to a tableized format that I can use to now perform any calculations that I need to. I do want to show you just a very few prep features that you can do while you're in Monarch. Sometimes you may get data, just like you saw me pull here, where I have something like a name, for example, that's combined together with first, middle, and last all in the same field. And you might need these in separate columns. Maybe you want the first name, middle name, and last name all in the individual columns. So we can do that by right-clicking on one of the values within that column, coming down to split, and then split name into parts. And for my particular case, I want to show the first, the middle, and the last name all in their own individual columns. You can remove the original column if you want to, but I'm going to leave it for now. But you do have that capability if you need to. And you'll notice when we go through, it's able to intelligently recognize the pattern for those names. So even if you have names that don't have a middle initial or a middle name, it's able to recognize that and just leaves that field blank for you. If you want to format any dates, we can do that as well. Instead of having the date and the time displayed, maybe I want just the date. So I can select those columns, again, right-click, and then come to Format. And I'm going to format this to show just the date itself, so select the short date option. And notice there are other options available for you to include creating your own custom format. And I select OK, you see it reformats that data for me. So you can do, again, multiple other prep operations directly to this table if you would like to. I do just want to show you that off to the right-hand side, you notice anytime I make a change to this table, those changes are saved in our change history. So now if I wanted to load a new document in the future, I don't have to worry about redoing this entire process from start to finish. The set of instructions are saved for you within this workspace. So when I open a new document, it'll apply that same template to that PDF document that we worked on. And then once it's loaded into Monarch, it'll apply these changes for you. Again, all done automatically. You just have to tell it where the document is. Now, the main reason I pulled this data is, again, I needed to combine this information with some other information for my Salesforce opportunities. The main things I really need is just, again, the employee's name and the office that they work out of, and then finally their employee number, which you'll see is listed here as well for their employee number. So I really need those particular fields because of my Salesforce table, which is in the CSV, and let me just bring that in. So my Salesforce data, when I bring that in, you notice, and again, it's just a CSV, just simply drag and drop it right into Monarch. You notice in the second to last column, the only thing I have here is listed as the employee's number. I don't have any other information to identify the actual employee or the office that this opportunity was created out of or won from. So in order to actually see that, I need to join these two data sets together, joining off of that employee ID. And again, this is a great feature that Monarch gives you the ability to do. Normally joining two tables is not too much of a challenging process. If I have two, if I'm in Access, for example, I want to join two tables, it can be done fairly easily by most people who have a little bit of understanding of how the process works. But just imagine trying to take unstructured data and join it together with the structured table, or two unstructured data sources and join those together. It's a fairly complex process. As you see, we're going to make it very simple and easy for you to do right within Monarch. So to combine these two tables, all I would need to do is come up to Combine Data. And I want to select the two tables that I'm interested in joining together. I'm going to put that employee info table on the left and our Salesforce table on the right. I'm going to come click on Show Join Analysis. And what this will do is it'll bring up a heat map for me. It shows me the best keys to join these two tables together on. You notice if I hover over this field in the top left, it's telling me I should join on the employee number from both the left table and the right table. And again, we know just how these tables are structured. We know those are the correct fields that we want. So I'm going to just select those two options. Again, from these tables, all I really need to display right now is for my employee information is just the name, the employee's name, and the office that employee works out of is all I need. I'll throw the department in there too, because I may want to use that for something later on down the road. But that's all I really need for my left table. And then for my right table, we don't need that employee number anymore because we have the actual employee's name associated with this table now. So we can just leave this set the way that we have now. We're joining these two tables together. So once I click OK, you see it combine those two data sets together for me. I have my original information from my PDF document that contains the employee name, the office that they're out of, and the department that they work in. And that's all combined with my Salesforce data that contains the individual opportunities that we're interested in performing calculations on. So one more thing I need to do, I have the office listed here, but I don't know the actual state that these are. And I need someone to kind of identify those particular values. So I just happen to have an Excel workbook that contains the office that gives a state with listing as well. So again, just like we did before, you simply drag and drop those documents directly into Monarch, be it an Access file, CSV, PDF, etc. Everything is going to be just drag and drop functionality, so it'll make it easy for you to use. But when I drag and drop this right into Monarch, I now get a table that shows me the office and the state. So just like we did before, we're going to combine those two data sets together. And this time I'm going to just select click to join instead of using the join analysis. Now you notice when I do that, I have to manually populate the keys down here. It doesn't automatically do that for me since I didn't use the show join analysis like we did the last time. But I know I want to link the office with the office. And again, I don't need to see the office twice. I'm going to deselect that. And I really want to just see the state that that particular office is in. So that's when I leave that option selected for me. And now if I scroll over to the far right, you see now I have the actual state for each one of those individual offices as well. Now you might want to actually move this column so it's actually next to the name of the field that you're interested in. You want the state next to the actual office name, not to the far right here. So again, we can move this. If I just right click on that column and select edit move information, I can take that state and then just move it up so it's right next to our actual office. Again, you can obviously rearrange as many columns as you want to. So now I have that information available for me next to my office. So I want to do one additional thing now before I finalize this. Well, a couple of additional things. The first thing I need to do is, again, remember, I want to know my sales opportunities, whether I won or lost that opportunity. And right now, you'll notice this sales stage is very complex. It has a lot of different things kind of listed in there. And I really only need to know whether it's won or lost or if it's in pipeline. Anything else I really don't care about for my particular analysis that I want to do. So I need some way to convert these stages right now to just say won or lost, or the particular opportunity that we're in. So we actually have a web page that gives you the simple conversion for this. And this is just to show you an example of web scraping. What I can do is I can take everything on this actual web page and pull it directly into Monarch, and it's smart enough to recognize where the table is on this web page, and it'll scrape it directly from here. So if I press Control-A, it'll select everything on this web page. Then I can just simply drag and drop that again right into Monarch. It's going to take a few seconds to process that. And you notice it pulls the table for me with that simple stage conversion table. So now, just like we did before, we're going to combine these two tables together. And this time we're going to join on those sales stage from the two tables. So I want the sales stage from the left table, and I want to match that with the stage from the right table. Again, we're going to deselect these because I don't need those to appear multiple times now. And all I really want left is that simple stage. And I want to just turn on our fuzzy matching to 2. Again, we don't really need it for this particular case, but just to show you, you do have the ability to use fuzzy matching. If there's any slight variations between records, by default, the records have to be an exact match in order to pick them up. But if there's a slight variation between the two, that fuzzy matching will give you the ability to still link those two records together. So now you notice if I come over to the far right here, I have a simple stage conversion for that for our table now. So I have the actual just won or lost and not any of that additional information that we talked about. So I want to do one additional thing here. I want to find a way to determine if I won an opportunity. I want to display the value of 1, the number 1. And if I lost, I just want to display the value of 0. And we can do this again with multiple calculations. I'm going to create a calculated field. And when once you create a calculated field, you notice you have access to all of the columns that are contained within this particular table that you're working on. You also have several different functions that are available to you. So pretty much all the functions that you're used to using in other data preparation or data manipulation tools are available to you here. And if you select any of these functions, so if you wanted to write an if statement, for example, when you select that function, it gives you just a plain English description of what that function does down at the bottom. And it also tells you what arguments or parameters that function expects. So it kind of guides you through the process when you're writing this. So you can definitely use that option, but I'm going to write just a really simple formula right now. And I just want to see if our sales stage is equal to 1. That's all I really want to see for this. And this is going to essentially do a true-false check for me. If this is true, it just returns a value of 1. And if it's false, it returns a value of 0. And again, we can see that calculation given for us off on the right-hand side here. So now every time it says 1, I'm going to get that 1 and then 0 for any time that it's lost. Or if it's anything other than 1, essentially it'll be a value of 0. I do also need to get my fiscal year listed for me here. Right now I have the close date, but I don't have the fiscal year separated by itself. So just like I showed you before, when we do our splits, we also have the ability to split dates into parts. I could just do just a regular split based off the time, but I actually want to split this into fiscal parts. So I'm going to select the third option here. And I want to see just that fiscal year at the very end. I want to keep our original close date because we might need that as well. And I get a new column that generates that fiscal year for me. Now you might notice when you're looking at some of these are actually 2014 and some are 2015. And the reason for that is our workbook by default is set to have January be the beginning of the fiscal year, but our fiscal year actually begins in October. So what we can do is we can change this. You can have a default set for the entire application, so anytime you run or open this, that's the way it's set. Or we can just do it for the particular workbook that we're in. Now I'm going to do it just for this workspace that we're in now. You can come over to the intervals and just set when you want your fiscal year to begin. And as I said, ours begins in October. Once I apply that to this workspace, you notice it's going to automatically update this for me to put the correct fiscal year. So now everything is related to fiscal year 2015. And this is a great option again if you may be working on the same set of data or the same formatted data, but one group might be working on one fiscal year and one might be on another. So you can use the exact same workspace. All you have to do is tell it which fiscal year you specifically want it to have, and it'll convert everything for you so you have the correct calculations. So now that we've gotten to this point, we have everything set the way that we want. We can perform a summary on this table. As I mentioned, I want to see just that finalized table that just summarizes the opportunities based off the office. So I can do that. Let's not combine. My apologies. I want to transform this data, and I want to group this together. I want to group on the office that the opportunity came from, and I want to sum all those ones that we have. That's why we created that column at the end that gives us the value of ones. We're going to just call this total. Now I'm going to add a new one. I'm going to just get a count of the total opportunities that we had as well. And I'm going to add up here. I also want to just include the fiscal year in here just so we know which fiscal year this came from. We'll just call this column fiscal year. And now I get that summarized table that I showed you I was interested in at the very end of this. So I might need this particular table for my analysis. But you notice the table before, if I expand my load plan out, I have a bunch of different sources that I worked with here. Another great thing about Monarch is I can update this. So you'll see this is the information for 2015. But I might want to look at my 2016 data now. So I can come back to my Salesforce data. And all I need to do is just select Edit File Path. And I'm going to select that 2016 information. And you notice everything's going to be updated for me. This information is updated. And every table that's dependent upon that table is also updated. So if I come back up to the top here, you're going to see it takes a few seconds to recalculate everything. But now I'm bringing in data from 2016. I have that same calculation, same operations performed on a completely different set of data. So this just show you how you can make that process repeatable for you. Once you've built this workspace, you can again use it on multiple data sets to have that same structure. You don't necessarily have to redo the entire process from start to finish. So this is the summary table that I want. But I also want to build some dashboards and build some visualizations within Cognos Analytics. So I don't want the actual summary data, but I want to take my entire data set that I have. So I'm going to come down just one level down. And again, that's why it's great that you have your entire load plan available to you here. You can always come back to any one of these specific levels and export out. Maybe you don't want to export out just the Salesforce data or just any individual table. You can always do that. But for right now, I want to take my entire table that I've already prepped within Monarch, and I want to export this directly into Cognos Analytics. So all I have to do, once this is all prepped and saved for me, I'm just going to come to Export Data. And you can see there's several options that are available to you for exporting data. But for our case, we want to go directly into Cognos Analytics. So I'm going to select that option. So I'm going to ask you to name the table something. So I'm going to just give this a simple name. I'm going to just call this Salesforce. And you can obviously set to override an existing table if you want, or turn it off if you don't want to, if you want to keep adding new tables as well. Then I'm going to select OK. It's going to ask you for your server URL. And then again, this is saved by default. So once you put this in, you don't need to do this each time. But you need to put in just your login credentials. Then once I click OK, you see I'm going to get a notification. It's going to export this information out. And once it's complete, I'm going to get a export complete notification. And that's the whole process that you would go through. So from this point, I do want to hand it back over to Leo.
Thank you, LaRue. Let me just grab control here. Now, hopefully everyone can see my screen now. So LaRue has gone through the process of, again, going out, taking a number of different data sources, taking some dirty data, done some rather cool stuff on the Monarch side. And now we're going to show you what we can do with it inside the new version of Cognos. So I just want to take a second here. Actually, before I even get started with that, I forgot to mention this at the beginning. You know, if you guys have any questions going through this, there is a little Q&A button in here, so we can just type your questions in there real quick, and we'll get to it. You know, toward the end, or if something pops up. I apologize, I didn't mention that earlier to you. But again, a couple new things with Cognos I really wanted to point out real quick. As I said before, this is R5, which just came out a couple weeks ago. As you can see, if you haven't seen it yet, it is obviously a completely new look and feel. You know, we're not icon overloaded, which a lot of people kind of complained about. A couple of the new things, again, for your end users, that make things rather easily. We have a very simplified toolbar over here on the left. Okay, some real quick things. Again, if you guys create something, a package, a data module, a report, a dashboard, as soon as you save it, okay, it gets added to the index, and your end users can quickly go out and actually find that report. You know, in Cognos 10 world, again, we had to run the index, so people ran it a couple times a week or once a week. So the search capabilities was always a little bit sketchy. But now, again, if I just type in the word golf right here, it will go through any report, any dashboard, any package that Cognos thinks or sees the word golf in it. So if it's a column in the report, it will actually pull it back for us. Okay, so again, a nice way to make Cognos a little bit more user-friendly for the folks who, you know, when they use Cognos 8, Cognos 10, they were overwhelmed, they couldn't find things, too many icons, and so on. And then from right here, once they find it, they hit the little ellipsis at the end. Now they can actually run the report, okay? Or they could open it up if they have the capabilities to make a change to it. So again, no more open and closing folders, trying to remember where things were located, okay? We're all used to the public folders and the My folders. Those are still there. They've just been renamed to Team Content and My Content. Okay? We have a recent view field in here. So in here, we'll show you the last time I looked, there was 25 different objects will be listed in here. And again, the same thing again, once I find something, click the ellipsis, and you can, you know, open the report or open this data module, and kind of so on if you need to move it or whatnot. Okay? The new tools that we talked about, the reports, the dashboards, the story, the data module are all listed right under here. Okay. If you're still looking for the legacy tools, Analysis Studio, Query Studio, Workspace, those are all listed right in here. Okay. So again, if you have end users who are a little hesitant about moving off some of the legacy tools, they are still readily available for you. If you're looking for Cognos Workspace Advanced, it is actually tied into the report module now. So there's really only one reporting module now, and again, depending on the capabilities needed, your end users, you know, there's no more upgrading or opening a different icon to getting access to the queries and stuff like that. It's all going to be in one module for you. Okay? If you want to do a data upload, we have that file right here. So again, you could take your spreadsheets. If you had a spreadsheet, you wanted to upload it, so you could build a report off of it, or a dashboard, you have that capability right here. Okay. And one thing that is my favorite of Cognos Analytics is what you see right here, notifications. So again, if your end users, what they can do is they can subscribe to a report. So every time there's a new version of this report, so if it gets run at 6 o'clock every morning, you know what, we can come in here and they will get notified, hey, I've got a new employee survey report. I've got a new returns report right here. And I just click on this and I can open up the report again. So again, you know, the old story that Cognos is too complex, there's too many folders, there's too many icons, I can't find this, just email me reports. Just put it in a PDF and email it to me. Okay, those days, you know, we can start to hopefully close that door a little bit. Again, give their end users, get them onto the screen so we can show them the more functional capabilities of Cognos with prompts and with the dashboards and kind of so on. Okay, so real quick, again, some of the new features of it. But again, like we said before, you know, LaRue's gone out and he's created a data module for me. And what I would like to do, and I'll just show you what I came up real quick, is I've got this dashboard right here. So I'm going to open that up real quick that I created earlier. And we'll just let it load real quick. Okay, and as you can see, you know, we got a nice, you know, pretty colorful little interactive report here. Of course, during a live demo, things get slow. Okay, and what we can do now is, you know, we can have a little prompt here, and again, where our end users can interact, so they can select on the various states that we have readily available for you. You know, we can kind of click through real quick. And again, this is all the stuff that, you know, the data that LaRue prepared, bringing in the dirty data, doing the web scraping, you know, all this information is readily available, you know, again, for our dashboards. If I go on to the maps, again, this is the Mattebox integration. Once you see this, what pops up on the screen, you know, obviously, if you've been around the Cognos world for a while, we did not have anything like this out of the box, okay? As you can see, these are interactive maps, so if I start clicking on the maps, I can interact with the other maps, or I can have a little prompt right here and actually show that as necessary. You know, so again, these are type of things that we have not seen in Cognos before out of the box, so I just wanted to show you real quick what's that all about. All right, so let's do this real quick. Let's go back to our screen. And let's go back into that Salesforce data module that LaRue put together for us, okay? So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click on the ellipsis. Again, no more icons to go searching for. Okay, just hit the ellipsis and all my options are right there, whether I want to move it, do I want to share this, do I want to delete this, kind of so on, create a report, create a dashboard, create another data set. But I'm going to click on create a dashboard real quick. Okay, so again, real quick, I'm going to show you guys, you know, a couple of the things that I did when I was building this report. So again, you have a number of different templates for the dashboards. So I'm just going to select a tabbed dashboard, and I'm going to pick this template over here, you know, with two column headers, okay? And we're going to hit OK. Okay, so again, here's all the data that LaRue has put together for us. And real quick, I'm just going to show you a couple things in here that we can utilize and do inside our environment. Again, if you like to kind of dress up your dashboard a little bit, so I'm just going to give it a little bit different color than what's going on instead of that plain little white background. So I'm just going to make it a gray background. And now I'm going to start adding some objects to our dashboard here. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab state. Now, as you can see, what Cognos has recognized with this little icon is that this is actually a geographical location. So as soon as I pull that onto my screen, it is going to think, oh, this is a state field, it's a geographical field. I'm going to automatically give you a map, okay, which is very cool. So again, your end users don't have to go out and go searching through the properties to change everything. It's going to give you this nice little map. For my example right here, I'm actually going to change that. I don't want a map field right now. So again, I can quickly change that and say, you know what, just give me a list of the different states that are readily available for me, because I want to kind of use this as a prompt. Okay, I'm just going to do a little kind of formatting real quick here. Let's give it a blue background with a border. So we're good there. And again, if you're looking at this from the eyes of an end user, some of the things that I'm doing, it's very kind of wizard-driven, using best practices of data dashboard development. So it's going to give us a lot of flexibility that way. Okay. Let's add a couple other things. Let's add some kind of singleton-like data information. So I'm going to bring age over. And again, in the data module, it is set to a sum, so it's summarizing all my, so the age here is basically how long it took to actually close a deal. So this is a total of all this. I don't really want to see it as an age, but I can quickly change this and set this to an average. Okay, so again, for your end users, it's much neater. We're not opening other screens or looking for the property pane or whatever. We have that flexibility right there. And let's just get rid of this. I don't want to see the decimal places, so we can get rid of that rather quickly. Okay, and if you want to add a title to this, okay, let's see. Can't see it right now. I'm going to change the color in a second so we can see that. And again, I'm going to change the background real quick. And again, if you're experienced with Cognos, using it in the past, how much easier is this for our end users than some of the things that they've had to go through in the past. You know what? Since I have the title in my little summary report right here, I'm going to get rid of the label. Okay. And also, some other things to point out right here is this refresh automatically. So you can set a time that this is going to go out and automatically refresh this number. So if you are connecting to a live data source, you can have these dashboards being updated automatically. Okay, so I'm going to close that down real quick. And again, to kind of move things, size it up, I just kind of have to drag and move things around. So there's not going into any type of properties to try to move things around. If we want to put a filter on this, so again, I could come up here and grab closing year. So again, in Laroux's demonstration inside Monarch, he actually stripped out, he wanted to show the year, so we can quickly put that in there. And so this, I only want to see this for 2016. Okay, and we can do one more. We'll just do for revenue. And kind of the same thing again. I don't want to see. I want to see the decimal places. And I only want to see the average. Okay, so again, for your end users, again, not a lot of icons to go through, using the best practices of developing a dashboard. That's what's being included in here. And again, all the color schemes, so if you want to change the text color or the different color palettes, it's readily available right on the screen for your end users. So again, it makes things rather handy. So again, the learning curve for this, it's not that great. You know, again, your end users could spend a couple hours and try to get the hang of all this. Okay, so let's build a couple other dashboards. So we'll leave some time at the end for some questions. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go out and build a quick little chart for you. Okay, so I'm going to grab department and license revenue. Okay, and just drag it onto the screen. Okay, so again, it pops up, gives you a little, again, based off the values that we selected, it's going to give you a nice little bar chart. If I grab age now, I want to put age in here also, so it's going to develop and give me a little bit of a combo chart. So age will be displayed as a line, and obviously my revenue will be based off of a sum. And again, if you guys wanted to change the aggregation on this, again, all you have to do is come in here and select on age. Okay. I'm a little slow here, but eventually it's going to pop up, and I can actually change this. I could change it to an average or whatnot. There you go. Oh. Again, I could change that to an age right there. I mean, average. And if you want to put any local filters in here, again, I could drag year over here again, so I could show that as necessary. Let's just close that down for right now. Okay. And again, the same thing again, you know, if you wanted to format this a little bit, format the charts, again, the property pane is laid out rather nicely. You know, you want to pick a specific line color or fill color, border, you know, just like I did with the other ones. Okay. As far as the visualizations, again, you play with the bar. If I want to change the color of the bar, make it orange instead of blue to make it stand out a little bit more. And the symbol colors, maybe I want to make it purple. Okay, and then again, if you want to hide the legend, maybe I don't want to see the legends. Again, if I'm getting tight for space or whatnot, I can actually hide that. So the age and license revenue won't be showed up on the screen. I can also play with little point symbols. So you have a number of different options. So maybe I'll pick a diamond. So instead of like a little donuts, I'll actually get diamonds now. Okay. So again, some simple little functionality that we can build in here, again, allowing your end users to kind of do all this. All right. So let's do this. I'll switch back to the one I built earlier, again, just to show you guys a couple more of the functionality of it, and then we'll open it up for any questions that you guys might have. But again, with the maps real quick, so again, this is an integration with Mattebox. Again, Mattebox is owned by Pitney Bowes, so this is all being stored up on the Mattebox server. None of your data, so you don't have to be concerned about any of your data going out to an outside source. It's all being managed on your Cognos server. So again, right now the way the Mattebox works is we can do countries and we can do states. Okay. Hopefully next month They're going to add city, and then over the next couple of months, you'll probably start to see street level type of functionality in there. So if you have retail outlets, or if you have insurance information, if you have floodplain information, or intersections that you're concerned about as far as accidents, we'll be able to get down to that level. So again, that was a couple of things that I was kind of shown in a meeting I had in the last week or so. So again, some of the newer functionality that's coming out. R6, I believe, should be either end of January or sometime in February. So we can look out for that also. Again, with the maps, there are a number of different map types that are readily available to us right now. So right now, that was a satellite that I showed you. Again, if you guys want to go down to a basic or a bright, there's a number of different options in here. And this is just going to grow as we move forward. So if you want to change the map type, so again, just like you're doing inside your Cognos reports now, if you're looking at for different visualizations, you can just kind of toggle through that and kind of so on. So again, just some of the functionality, the new functionalities with the Mattebox, with the work that LaRue did inside Data Module. Again, doing things that we've never been able to do in Cognos before. We really couldn't manage that inside Framework Manager or Transformer or any other tools. But just allowing your end users, that ability to bring in data from a number of different sources, plus have the governance on top of that, so we can track changes, we can track who's accessing all this information. So again, we have that kind of audit trail that we are looking for. So, and we're running up against the time here. So, real quick, if anyone has any questions, we do have the Q&A box if you wanted to type a question in there, or if Greg or LaRue, if you guys like that, have a closing comment. Okay. All right. So, like I said before, this video is being recorded. I will be putting it up on our YouTube channel this afternoon. So, if anyone is interested in sharing this with others in your organization, if you have any other questions as far as Data Monarch goes, or any of the other data other products that Datawatch also offers, or anything involving Cognos Analytics, whether it's upgrades, functionalities, if there's some sort of feature that you're looking for, IBM's going to have some new ways of you guys keeping in touch with them and letting them know about the new features that you might like to see. But other than that, I'm going to close this meeting out. I want to thank everyone for joining us this morning. And if you have any questions, again, just feel free to reach out to myself or Greg or LaRue. I'll be sending out the slide deck also, so you'll have that to share with others and get our contact information from there. So otherwise, I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season, and hopefully you can survive the cold weather that's coming. All right. Enjoy, everyone. Thank you very much.